Have you been looking to add a task widget to your own co-working or study stream? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Ryan, and I made this task widget that has been used by over 100 Twitch streamers after they watched my previous video, where it sort of needs an update. There's been quite a lot of changes since then. For example, for the previous version, it scrolls up and down, whereas this one has a very satisfying infinite scroll, which is more aesthetic compared to the previous one. And I have something else that I want to show you all. A lot of people have asked me, like, can I add multiple tasks? Can I add more than one task? I keep getting that request, so I ended up actually making one. Unfortunately, the multitask widget won't be open source, so let me just show it to you. This is a task widget, so I'm gonna demonstrate to you all how to use it. So if you want to actually see it for yourself, then drop me a follow on Twitch and you'll be able to use it. This is what the taskbar looks like right now, and I'm gonna do !task and demonstrate how to set up task add. So there's some distinct differences from the previous one, and I can do !task add edit this video !task add verify. So if I want to mark a specific task as complete, I can do task done number 1. And you can see there's a strike through to it and it's marked as complete. And also I want to do, I'm not doing chapter 5. Let me just remove that. I can do task delete. I can do chapter 5. Or I can let me add that task again. Or I can do task delete 3. So either you put the name or the index of the task, it should work. No, it should work perfectly fine. Right now, I'm going to be showing you all how to set up your own task widget, which is this one, not the multi-task widget. If you want to know more about the multitask widget, please join the Discord. The link will be in the description. So let's get into setting it up. So I'm going to be opening the browser of my own choice. And I'm going to be opening. I'll be on this page. This page will be in the link in the description also. This is the GitHub repository for Chattastic Overlay Infinity. The infinity means that there's an infinite scroll. And you can see the description's almost basically the same as the previous one. It just has a very satisfying infinite scroll. It's also very easy to set up if you're moving from the original task widget to the new one. I'll show you guys later. Please click code and download zip. So after I complete the installation, I'm going to open my file explorer. I'll extract all my files and I'll extract it away from the downloads and try to move it to either desktop or documents. So I'm just gonna extract all. I'm gonna extract it into my stream stuff. I have twitchapps.com/tmi open. The link will be in the description below. And I'm gonna click on connect. Over here, I'll be asked if I authorize this. It has all these permissions, but you can just click authorize. And I'll get the access token right here. And we just opened the notepad that we had just now. We paste it between these two quotation marks. And you just delete this, delete this. So just now, what we did was we copy pasted the whole thing here. If you're not sure, then you can just like right click and then click copy, open your notepad, we paste it in between these quotation marks right here, and then we remove the OAuth and the colon after it. And we need to click Ctrl S to save to get rid of this dot right here. That indicates that it's not saved. This thing right here is my script, ignore that. So after you've completed this step, you basically set it up already. try to show to you right here. Over here on the bottom right, you see a source. You click on browser, and then you just click on browser, and you just give it a name, such as you can call it Ryton Taskbot. Okay, and let me hide that. Over here, you tick local file, and then you click browse. Okay, and now we're gonna navigate to the file that we want, which I put it in my folder called stream stuff, but you may have extracted it to desktop or documents. And you just click on index, and it will have like a browser icon next to it. Okay, you just double click it, and you can click OK. Now it should appear on your screen right here. Okay. Hello. So if you want to quickly set up from the old task widget, the original task widget, to the infinity scroll version, you just single left click AUTH, Control C to copy, or right click and copy. And then you move over to the Chatastic Overlay Infinity folder, and then you just paste it with Control V, Control V to paste. Okay, and then you'll be prompted with this, and you just click on Replace the file in destination, and that's all you need to do to move from the old task widget to the new one. Right now, I'm going to be showing you how to customize the task widget. So you right click on configs, you open with Notepad or Visual Studio Code if you have it, and you can see some settings here. I'm going to be showing you a few of these. I'm just going to try to go through really quick, and you'll soon be able to customize the task widget right here by yourself very easily. So let's start from the top. So in the settings, there's show done tasks being true. What if we set it to false? I save the configs.js, and then I refresh the browser source, and you can see that the completed tasks all disappeared. That's because that when we set to false, it won't show the completed tasks. And if I set to true again, the chapter 4 to chapter 1 appears again. If I do show tasks number, it refers to the numbers in the header. The numbers in the header disappear, 5 out of 6 disappears, and if I put it to true again, it reappears. Cross tasks as done. So if I set to true, then the completed task will have a strike through to it. And if I don't show a checkbox, then it will be a bullet point instead. You can customize the bullet point. I'll show that to you later. And if we set reverse order to false, then it'll have chapter 1 at the top and then chapter 6 at the bottom. But if we have set to true, then it'll be chapter 6 at the top and then chapter 1 at the bottom. What reverse order basically means is that by default, it'll have the first added task to be at the top, and then when you add another task, it'll be at the bottom, and then the more tasks you add, it'll stack at the bottom. But with reverse order being set to true, the completed task, the task that is added recently will be at the top, and the more recent the task is, the higher it will be. So let's set that to false. I prefer to set it to false. For the fonts, you can go to fontsgoogle.com and you can change it to something like Montserrat. And you can see the header got changed to Montserrat. And at the bottom, I can change it to Roboto Mono. And you can see that the font changed. So those are fonts from fontsgoogle.com. And I just prefer these fonts. So pixels per second refers to the speed. Right here it says it must be a number, so if I increase the number to 100, it'll scroll very fast. But if I set it to 10, then it'll be very slow. So let's set it to 100. Or that's a little too quick. Let's set to 50. I'll save this. And the gaps between the scrolls refers to the gap you can see between chapter 6 and chapter 1. There's a gap there. So if I set to 30, there's a very tiny gap between it. But if I set to 0, it might look weird. That's because I don't know. I don't know why it's like that. I know why it's like that. I just don't know how to explain it. So, and if I put it to like 40, that's like a nice. You can see that there's very unnoticeable. If I put 100, then it's very noticeable. So if I put 30, I think I prefer 100 actually. A nice little gap between it. And for the task list, this one says hex only, so you can only put a hexadecimal color in it. So this one is red, and the opacity is set to 0. If I set to 1, then the opacity, you can see that it's completely opaque red in the background. If I put it to 0.5, it's going to be translucent red. And if I set to 0, it's completely transparent and there's no red. There we go. And over here you can put a hexadecimal color or name. I can put 00FF00, which means green. And right, you won't see a border color here unless you set a border width of 1 or more. So if I refresh, there is a green border around the task list. Okay, so the task list refers to the whole thing. Now let's just go to the header height. The higher the header height, the taller the header is. And if you decrease it to like 30, the font size might not like that. Yep. So let's put 60. And if I want to change the font size of the header, I can put like 60 here. Okay. And the task help is increase in size. And let's say I want the task number at the top right to be the same font. I just have to change task number font size over here and then refresh. Okay. I'm sure oh yeah, and border radius refers to how round an element is. So for the header, if I set like the border radius to be 0, the header is gonna be completely rectangular with sharp corners, 90 degrees, no roundness. If I put it to 20, it'll be pretty round. Okay. Now let's look at the body. The body is let me show you. If I set to 1 and the body will have a background color of white, this part is the body. It's below the header and it sort of like contains all the tasks. If I set to green, you can see that. Alright. Now let's set the border radius 0 because I don't want it to be round at all. Body border color, there's none right now. And the vertical padding refers to sort of vertical padding is, let me show you. If I do 30 for the vertical padding, actually I don't think it affects the infinite scroll, so you can ignore this one. For the task bracket, individual tasks refers to how it affects each task that you can see chapter 5, chapter 6, etc. If I change the number of lines, I'm not sure if let's say I want to add a task like I'm currently adding a very long task. I added, oh wait, oops. Forgot this one only handles one task at a time. And at the bottom, you should be able to see, like, I need to add a longer task. Uh, okay, so I just added a task, and we should see that it extends to the second row. So if I don't want it to extend to the second row, I can just do number of lines equals 1. And you will see that it's not going to extend to the second row anymore. Username color white. If I don't put a color name over here, then it'll turn into pink because the color that I set for myself on Twitch is pink color. So that's why it'll be pink. But if I set it to white color, it'll be white color for everyone. But if I leave it blank, it'll be sort of like orange for people who set their username color to orange, pink for me, pink for whoever set it to pink on their own username, etc. Task background color. It's currently black with a opacity of 0.8. I can change it to green. I can change it to blue. Etc. I just prefer to keep it as black with that opacity. And margin bottom refers to sort of like how separated each task should be. If I set it to 20, you can see that, oh, the gap between each task increased. Now if I set padding, the larger the value of the padding, the sort of like the more padding there is in the div. So if I put like 20, you can see that there's a big space. It has a lot of padding, we call it. What's the original value? Oh, it's 10. Okay. And the task max with, honestly, this one is for, it's not really shown very well over here. I'm gonna reduce the width so you guys can sort of see it. Not sure it'll be effective. So if I put the task max width, if I don't want to go 50% of the div, it'll just sort of shorten itself. You can see the lorem ipsum ... If I put it to 100%, then it'll extend it longer. This is for if you want to show your username. Some people want to fully display their username, but they have a very short task list. So if they put task max width, people with longer usernames have a better chance of seeing their whole long name. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Just leave it at 100%. And I will change the properties back to 1000. Checkbox. Okay, so right now there's a bullet point. If I want to customize the checkbox, I need to set this one to true. I'm gonna refresh this. Okay, so there's a checkbox now. There's a checkbox, and currently the size is 20. Let's try to change it to 30. And you can see the checkbox size increased, but it's not exactly aligned very well. So let's change that. Checkbox margin top. Checkbox margin top, let's decrease it because I want it higher. Okay. It's gonna be a trial and error from here. And checkbox margin left, that's fine. Checkbox margin right. So there's gonna be some space between the left and right of the checkbox. If I just set this one to 0, there's not gonna be a space between the left side very little space on the left side of the checkbox. And if I increase it to 10, there's going to be a large space, supposedly. Wonder what's going on with that. And the tick character inside, you make sure have a single quote inside for it to work. Tick size, let's increase it to 13 also. And loop, that's a little too large. Let's reduce it to 28. Honestly, that doesn't look that bad, but I wish it goes up a bit. So if I increase this to 5 pixels, you can see that it's moved up correctly. Just how I like it, okay? I'm gonna reset these values over here. And if I set the checkbox to false, you'll see a bullet point. If I scroll down below the checkbox, there's going to be bullet point. And the bullet point character, I can put in an emoji if I want to. I can put in this. I'm not sure if that works. Oh, that works. Okay. So I can do this. I can do dash. I can do, I don't know. Oh. And it will work. Capital O. Any character that you can put in here, I can put an emoji if I can conveniently demonstrate it here, and it would work. Okay. Bullet point size, that controls like the size of the bullet point. Okay. If I put it to 100, it's gonna be a big circle, I hope. No. And bullet point color, white. Bullet point is probably like the same as before. Colon left, colon right. So colon is the two dots. I can increase the margin 10 here and 10 here. And you can see that there's an increased space between the colons. Okay, if I set this one to 0, you can see that there's no space on the right side of the colon between the colon and the task, but there's a space between the username and the colon. I'll set it to 5 like this. Alright, now moving on to the tasks, okay? So let's say someone hops into your chat and they don't know how to use a taskbot, or they're just so used to other people's taskbots. So they just do !task add and it would register as a task. It will register as, oh, they're trying to do !add task. They want to add a task to the widget. They did !add task, they did !task add, they did !to do, !add, !task, it will all accept. Okay? And delete task. Yeah, this is to remove the task. This to edit. This to mark it as complete. This one is checking your current task, or you can check other people's task, like so. Check at Ryan. Oh, Rython Dev. I forgot I changed my username. Rython Dev. Oh, my current task is whatever this is. Help commands. This is the admin delete. So this only works for moderators. So I can do !a del at Rython Dev, and you will see that all my tasks should be deleted. And this only targets a specific individual. I will just do !task add all my stuff back. Chapter 1. And actually there I actually accidentally skipped through next task. So what next task is basically it's a shortcut between like exclamation mark done, and then exclamation mark task add. So this only works after you already have an incomplete task at the board. So I can do exclamation mark task. I can do exclamation mark next chapter. I'm done with chapter 1, so I want to do exclamation mark next chapter 2, exclamation mark next chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, and let's just add one more chapter 6. Admin clear done. So this is to clear all the completed tasks. So if I do exclamation mark clear done, all of the completed tasks from chapter 1 to chapter 5 will be cleared, but chapter 6 won't be cleared because it's not completed yet. And then there's an exclamation mark clear all, which just clears all the tasks. Okay? So be careful with this one. Here are the responses that you can try. You can edit here. Oh, it looks like you already have a task up there. Oh, the task has been added. You can edit the responses of the bot over here. And the variables only work on certain. So task add, there's going to be a variable task, and then you can ping the user. Okay, you guys can just try it out yourself. This is the help command. This is the additional commands. You exclamation mark bot credit, and you'll ping the user, mention the user. Ryan is the creator of this bot, and then it'll link to my Twitch. Here are the titles. You can do exclamation mark bot credit, exclamation mark task add. These are the titles that will cycle through. You can even do like add your own. Let's say there's a stream element command called exclamation mark coworking or exclamation mark muted. You can still display it up here. Oh, it'll still work. All right. And that's about it. That's the end of the configs. All right. So I really hope that you find this video useful, helpful, and I hope you would shout me on your channel or drop a follow if you really like it. You can also try to credit me in your panels somewhere, and join the Discord if you really like the taskbot. You can join the Discord, be friends with the community, and I'll see you soon. Bye. In my Discord, I also have like the notifications of when I stream. So if you want to drop by sometime and try out the multitask widget, don't forget to drop a follow and join the Discord.